Nothing better than an ancient civilization that was dominating the galaxy eons ago and then disappeared. At least until the immortal Necrons reappeared like some of the Imperium's most relentless enemies. That is, in addition to every other species in the galaxy. JOYTOY released a while ago a few of these ancient robo-Egyptians, and I believe that they are perfect enemies for the hordes of spacemarines that we have been collecting so far. Let's see if they are as scary as they appear from the boxes. The Necron Overlord is the leader of the bunch of Nexus that I have got, and he will proudly show us the kind of packaging that is mostly common to all other units. JOYTOY released the units from the Zarakan dynasty, which have this bronze-like color, and the Sotek that have instead a silver coloring. Essentially they are all the same, but the Overlord is only present for this dynasty. To be honest, there is nothing over the top in terms of accessories. It is an emaciated metal skeleton with fancy decorations and little else. He is armed with a war sight and a closed tachyon arrow on the right. I just looked up the names on Google, I am no expert at all. Everything is connected by tubes, so there is little to customize here, unless you are the kind of person who likes to cut and glue his figures. I really like the green painting of the blade, it has a nice variation in tone and it is nice difference from the bronze color used for the body. It is dark brown metallic paint that is quite nice. The dark recesses are quite prominent because of this, and we will see the articulations with other figures, but essentially the Overlord is not much different from the other grunts, even if the skeleton has some battle damage here and there and a more noble look. And the first grunts that we look at are the ones armed with Guass Blasters. For this dynasty, each box contains 2 identical figures, so they are ideal if you are building your army of the dead. They are identical, no differences at all, and again there is only an additional pair of hands for each, if you want your figures to wield their weapons from the left or from the right. This looks more like plebs compared to the Overlord, but the skeleton body, besides the decorations, is pretty much the same. The tubings connect the figure's body to the weapon with this green energy color that is common pattern to all Necron figures. Again, this will limit the articulations, and the neck connection is a bit odd too, and severely limits the ability for our metal skeletons to turn their heads in any other direction other than frontally. Still a nice metallic look. Being such essential figures, the articulations are quite good. You can have the perfect T-pose, and also have a high range of movement for both arms and legs. The only limit is given by the feet, that are very flat, and this makes them very hard to balance in more dynamic positions. And the connection between the body and the huge weapon does not help in balancing the entire figure. When I unboxed them, they were covered with a dusty patina. Not really sure what it is, probably something due to the coating used for the painting. Anyway, I got 4 of these relentless death machine, and I really think that Necrons more than other figures rely on the presence of a number of these, all together in the same place. The weapons are huge, no idea how they can handle them, but apparently they are quite good at it, especially when you have a huge phalanx of them firing massive barrage of death rays on the poor targets. Tesla Carbines are pretty much the same, exchanging one big weapon for another, so we skip directly to the most unique and coolest of the group in my opinion, the Deathmarks, the sniper among the Necron units released so far. And to make things more interesting, I also got one Deathmark from the Sotek dynasty, so we can look at the differences, which again are not that many, but this time our sniper guys are with only one big eye, and a weapon that is not connected directly to the body, finally granting us some more posing options. So we can finally unleash our creativity, which in my case is pretty poor since I cannot imagine something different from holding the weapon or aiming it. But I'm sure that I will find some new ways in the future, at least this is what I hope. In the meanwhile, we can finally see the Necrons armed with Tesla Carbines side to side with the Deathmarks and try to identify what are the differences. The Tesla guys are identical to the other soldiers armed with Guass Blasters, while the Deathmarks have that more slender, elite look that makes them stand out a little bit among the phalanxes of innumerable ranks that all look the same to me. With standard poses they can hold without falling, but do not expect anything more different than this, unless you are using some bases or other tricks to make them stand in balance. When we finally put them all together in a single scene, the Necrons are much more impressive. Scores of relentless undead soulless metallic robots, armed with one-shot weapons, are a sight to behold. At least until they met our waves of space marines. But in the meanwhile, the Necron Overlord really seems to be moving his minions to the battlefield, even if the lack of bigger units decreases the level of fear. Well, we can always say that this is an advanced scout party or just a guard unit for a bigger Necron army that is in the process of reawakening and reclaim its empire. And the enemies that they must face are quite comparable in size, from the elite scions to the Adeptus Mechanicus Rangers and the omnipresent ultramarines. I think that one against the other they really stand out, with their uniform metallic look compared to the plethora of colors that we have among the Imperium ranks. They are the prototypical enemies for our favorite Xenocide faction in the Grimdark. I would honestly love to see more Necron units to give more variety to the army, but apparently we will have to wait a long time, since this is the age when Tyranids are our favorite enemies for the good guys. Well, at least they are comparable until they meet the best of the best, the Adeptus Custodes, and compared to our golden boys they look some tiny hopeless midgets. Yes, definitely they need some bigger units to power their ranks up. But all in all, I will say that they are a good solution if you need some deadly enemies to pose against our main factions, maybe the Cadians or the Scions. Against the Redemptor they look like cannon fodder, honestly. But given the fact that they are often on sale these days, if you can find them at all, and overall good manufacturing quality, if you are looking for some enemies to fill your displays, these are your guys. Having said that, I wish you a nice awakening, and good luck in reclaiming your tombworld from pesky intruders.